Question of the week. The 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 question of the week. Welcome everyone to this week's edition of the question of the week. We have with us our dear friend, Pastor Leah. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
As some of you guys have heard already in the beginning of our message, we mentioned how, Leah, this is your last Sunday here with us at Grace Chapel. So we wanted to make sure to sit down with you to hear a little bit about your own journey in story at Grace Chapel and just hear a little bit of some of your favorite memories here. So first, Leah, do you remember meeting me, by the way, the first time you ever met me?
Oh, gosh.
You don't remember?
I don't think I do.
Because I was thinking about that and I don't
my
remember
gosh.
either. And I was hoping you did.
Oh my gosh, I
was
don't.
hoping you did.
Wait, that's so weird.
But I do remember my first phone call with you.
Same, yep.
Because for some of you guys who don't know, I first came here and I worked with Leah in student ministry. So the reason I'm here is because, Leah, you hired me to work with you. And I remember being on the phone with you and I was so nervous because obviously all job interviews are nerve-wracking. But there was something, Leah, about your voice and excitement. And like, I really felt like you wanted me to work with you. Was that true or not?
It was extremely true. And it's so funny that I don't remember, like neither of us remember meeting each other, but I have such a distinct memory of that first phone call. I know exactly where I was. I was at our old house. I was like wandering, doodling a lot of wandering. I was like in the bedroom, walking through my bed in my house on the front lawn. Like I really remember it clear as day. And I was like thrilled. And I got off the phone so stoked. And I think I ran over to Andrew and told him about the conversation.
I know that from that moment now until now.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe the journey we've been on together, friend. So it's such a joy and an honor to be able to celebrate you today in our service. But also, I feel like I want to hear some of your fun. You've been here, Leah, for how long have you been here now?
I've been here at Grace for like 19 years.
And so you have so many stories. You have a wealth of stories.
Yeah.
With working with students in particular, there's a wealth of stories. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about if there's any memories, maybe first initially from your student ministry days that was really fun or exciting or memorable. You know, those CCLEs are always really memorable when we go on mission trips with our students or retreats. So is there anything that comes to mind when you think about student ministry? And also maybe give us a little bit of context of how you even started to come to Grace Chapel that many years ago.
Yeah, the two are related. I've shared probably in, I don't know, little pockets here and there, but what brought me to Grace was my youth pastor in high school. I did not grow up in the church. I sort of grew up going to Catholic services here and there, but it was in my sophomore year of high school that my mom wanted something different for us. And we found our way to this church. It's so funny to think about how that happened. And I like walked into the doors on a Sunday night at youth group. And I was super nervous, but I loved it. And then the youth pastor there really became a super influential person in my life. And I ended up going to Gordon. And during my time in college, he took the job as the high school pastor here at Grace. And I was sort of doing the like church shopping thing. And he was like, come visit me at Grace. And so I think I like brought a crew of friends one Sunday to like, come visit. Hey, it's so fun to see you, Todd. And he's like, you too. Oh man, you should come check out high school ministry. Yeah, come on. Hey, I want to introduce you to, this is, hey, oh man, literally. And he's like, hey, I could use some volunteers in the high school ministry. And I was like,
Classic, yeah.
But of course, I loved Todd and was like, maybe I'll do that. And so that's what brought me to Grace and kept me here. So I started out first as a volunteer and I showed up as a college student every Sunday morning down here. I drove down here. We had to be here at like 8:30 in the morning.
And I don't think, if you don't know, we're not that close to Gordon.
No.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
And I know there's no traffic, so it's a little bit quicker, but still, for a college student to get up early on a Sunday to drive down to Grace Chapel, that does take a lot of
And there
time.
wasn't no but sometimes like colleges have like buses or vans to bring kids. Like that was not the case. It was like my personal car driving back and forth. So 8:30 every Sunday morning to be here to help with the high school ministry as a small group leader. Every single Friday night, we had Friday Night Gravity that would run from 7 to 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my goodness.
And then almost every Friday we would go out for like a post like after part, like Friday Night
Classic,
Gravity
yeah.
thing to like Chili's or whatever. So that really actually is like, that's so fun. You know, that was such a significant part of my life as a college student, was hanging out with these high school students.
Yeah.
And doing ministry in that way. And, you know, Todd, my youth pastor in high school, was very much of the like high relational, was just super approachable to me. So that really influenced, I think, my posture towards student ministry, which also meant that you're doing all these late nights and
I know.
all that crazy stuff.
And for, especially even because I went to a Christian school too, and I volunteered for a church doing youth ministry for like my first 2 years. And I was like, I'm not hanging out with my friends enough in college. And so that's just, so to sacrifice your Friday nights and your Sundays to like serve, that is like a big deal. So you've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And giving up so much of your life and energy and time. So it's been such a blessing to see you like flourish as the pastor of student ministries and of our high school students. So yeah, any memories and thoughts come to mind as you think about your days as a student?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a memory. Well, this was before I was the pastor of, and I've shared this, like I genuinely, so I also would do a Bible study at someone's house on Wednesday night. And it was like this fun, but super unruly group of high school students, and it was mixed age, mixed gender, and it was all it was really fun. But it was like, you know, I would come in with a vision for what we would talk about and like really try to set the table for a meaningful spiritual experience. And I'd be lucky to get like a thoughtful contribution. And I would remember so distinctly getting in my car, like, you know, bye God, like, oh, it's so good to see you. Like literally crying on the way home, feeling like, what am I doing?
Do they like me?
They don't like me.
They don't like me. Yeah.
I'm doing this all wrong. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, there were so many. It's hard to remember specific, but you know, that's student ministry. It's like you pour your heart into it. 9 times out of 10, you're like, this is doing nothing. Like, am I invisible? Like, what's happening?
I know.
And
it's
then
sorry, go on.
And then there's that 1 out of 10.
I know there is always that 1 out of 10, but it's so like, you know, doing student ministry, like that feeling of like when you're going up to give like a talk. And like, you can tell from the first like 30 seconds whether or not they're going to be with you or not. And when students are not with you for your talk, there's no worse feeling.
No.
Because it's just like for the next like 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh. And my early on sermon giving, oh my gosh, I was super nervous talking in front of people. And I remember one of my first sermons, it took such courage for me to get up there. I know, of course, I spent all the blah, 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 blah. And I have that, you know, you look out, you're like, oh gosh. But I get through it and I'm like, okay, I did it. And you know, the thing that you really try to just like let this go when you speak. Like, it doesn't matter who comes up to you. It doesn't matter what you say. I remember hearing someone give the advice, like, once you preach, like, let the balloon go and just doesn't matter. But I think you've heard this story before. A couple students came up to me afterwards and I was like, oh, they were impacted by what I said. They're going to share something really profound. And this was Jason, someone that, and he said, Jason, he said, I just wanted to show you something. I kept a tally here of the amount of times that you said, and the amount of times that you said like, and it was in the like 50s, 60s. I wanted to like crumple
Oh my God. I want to cry right now.
into a little ball. And I'm like,
Yeah, you gotta take it on the chin. Yeah.
good one.
Oh gosh.
Student ministry, man. It's brutal, but it is so beautiful. I had like later I had there was a group of girls that I was leading a small group, and they were just like, they ministered to me so much. And I remember all they wanted to do was have a sleepover. Let's do a sleepover. And so me and my co-leader had them over to our my house. And we just had like it was like fall in New England, and we were kicking off the small group. And I remember like driving in the car with them with the windows down, and they were all just like having the best time and connecting with each other, and just watching them cultivate their friendships in that way. I was like, man, this is life. Like, there's nothing better.
That's the highs and lows of
the highs and lows.
Do you actually remember, speaking of preaching, the first time you ever preached on the platform at Grace Chapel? Like a Good
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was the first time. And I was so nervous about that, but that was really, so that was my first time preaching, like outside the car in this random parking lot where there's like trucks coming in and out, picking things up. And yeah, finally drive over. And yeah, that was my first sermon, like for the like non-student ministry.
Yeah. Let us know if you're watching, if there's a message that Pastor Leah has given over the years that was one of your favorites or something that you took away something from, because I think one of the things, Leah, I appreciate about you is you have such a unique voice. And I know, people say that about people all the time, but oftentimes when you listen to a message, it can sound like you ChatGPT, like, it's like, pastors say the one big thing idea, and then there's 3 points, and, there's a formulaic nature sometimes to preaching, because that's how we're taught a lot of times, is to be clear and concise about certain things. And that's the way we structure it. But I think, Leah, one of the things that I've learned a lot from you is like, you've crafted such a unique voice in the way that you speak and preach and teach that hits differently for people who might not think so linearly as a lot of like preachers do. And that's how I tend to preach a lot of times too, is just very linearly, but there's something about your voice that is really unique. So let us know if there's a message that you've been blessed. Well, so last question is thinking back now in your time with digital ministry. So you've been doing student ministry for a while. Is there any like memories or some of your favorite, worship productions or music productions or whatever things that we've done in the digital ministry that stick out that you feel like was some of your favorite memories doing the digital ministry?
Well, I definitely think some of our like bigger productions for Christmas and stuff have been super special.
Yeah. The Cabot. That was a classic one.
Yes. Even the Attic, doing the attic with you.
The Attic, yeah. Lots of stories here.
Lots of stories there.
Yeah.
I think just something very special to all of those and the on location stuff. And then I think just being a part of some of those like musical and worship moments, like capturing that and then even being in the room live, you just like, it was very moving. And then I think, Dave and I were just reminiscing about the story we did with Pastor Jeanette and where we kind of went with her to Chinatown, and just an honor it was to listen to her story and share her story, because she has such a wealth of wisdom and experience, and just to be able to share a little piece of that felt like so. I felt very privileged to be able to bear witness to that and tell that story, and so that was really special. And I think that was one of the early sort of ways that we got to see the potential of and the power of storytelling, and just how that's like getting more of a vision for wanting to do more of that in the church and really raise voices of the many, and the diverse perspectives and experiences. And I think sometimes we can get caught up into saying that like, this is what a relationship with God looks like, sort of this certain trajectory, and being able to highlight like just the diversity of it is something that I felt really fueled me being in this role over the last couple of years. So, but that was one of the early ones that really was super inspiring. Love you, Pastor Jeanette. Love you, Auntie.
Well, yeah, here I have tallied the number of times you said like and in this interview, and think about
not bad. What was it?
It's better. Jason and I got together, and we're proud of what you've accomplished over the last 19 years.
Yeah, I know.
You've gotten better.
Thank you.
But legitimately, for those of you guys who don't know, this online campus digital ministry, none of this would have happened without Leah's hand over it. You're the one who has championed it, but also was the part of the inception of this digital ministry. And so really, like all the things that we've done, like your heartbeat is in all of it. And so please join me in the chat or in the comments in thanking Pastor Leah for all of her years of ministry, not just on the digital ministry, but through her preaching ministry, through the way that she's loved students. Because I know some of you guys also probably had your own kids in part of this ministry. Like every couple of weeks, I tell you all the time, like another kid comes up to me and is like, hey, do you know Pastor Leah? And I was like, oh, and they're like, I was in the student ministry and had the most amazing time. And so we know that your legacy will continue to grow and build here in Grace Chapel. So thank you so much, friend. I've appreciated so many of these years of ministry with you. We will miss you. We also know that you are going to do amazing and great things. So thank you, friend.
Thank you. Thank you, friend. I love you.
Love you, love you.
And I love you all.
Bye, everyone.
Congratulations, Leah. You have a huge transition in front of you, and you have left so many rich experiences and invested in so many people along the way. And your curiosity has paved a way for the Spirit to work in transforming ways through you, with you, around you, while you were at Grace. Leah, you're remarkable.
Hey, Leah, where do I start? We became fast friends with our morning walks on the phone, you in one part of the Boston area and me in another, going through various conversations about how to set up digital ministry, brainstorming, what was the Holy Spirit doing and where were we being led? I just think people should know what I know about you, and you should know. You're bold, you're hilarious, you're grounded, you're faithful. Hey, wherever you're going next, they have no idea the blessing that is about to crash land on their lives, but I do. And they are so lucky. God knows who they are. God is preparing those people. And I can't wait to hear and see what that's going to look like for you and for them.
Watching you grow, Leah, as a preacher and a pastor has been a great joy for me. Even through all the different seasons of your life and faith and journey, you've always preached with authenticity and honesty and searching insight and passion, and you've enriched the life of our congregation.
Leah, friend, Grace Chapel has been so blessed to have you. When I reflect on your ministry, I remember countless times when you counseled me through tough decisions and indecision. You listen deeply, you carve out space for other people to find their way. I have learned so much from and through you, and I'm so grateful for you.
I'm so thankful to have been a part of your Grace Chapel journey, and I am so thankful for the ways that I got to work with you, alongside you, to grow with you, to watch you grow and innovate. Just an amazing season of creativity.
Hi, Leah. Congrats on 19 years of ministry at Grace Chapel. You are someone that just brings delight everywhere you go. Your laugh is just contagious. Everyone knows Leah's in the room when they hear that laugh. Just having you in the room made all the difference. With your support, your willingness to jump in, try new things.
Leah, I just so appreciate and respect the intentionality you bring to your work and how much you really care about how things are done and what's communicated, and just that you really bring your heart to it.
Grace Chapel has truly been shaped by your leadership, your voice, and vulnerability. And so have I. And I just have to say, let's be honest, you have shaped us all by your continuously, consistently flawless style and effortlessly perfect hair as well. And I don't know how you do it with 3 kids and a full-time ministry life. I just have to say that. Whatever's next, I know God will keep using you to stir hearts, to build beauty, to make space for what truly matters, not because of what you do, but because of who you are.
You have meant so much to me over the years. I think it's safe to say that you have changed the course of my life more than anybody else. And I'm just so grateful for the ways that you taught me how to be a disciple, how to be a minister, how to be a good friend, how to be myself. And I thank you for the ways that you have loved me as I am.
Hey, Leah. It has been such a joy and a pleasure to have worked with you the last 4 years. The things I will remember most are just taking an idea and working on it together, co-creating things that are beautiful, special, and meaningful are just some of my most favorite moments with you the last 4 years.
We have known each other for a lot of years. I've admired you and your open-handed, open-hearted way of ministry. For years, you have juggled your role as wife, mother, pastor, and woman, and you have flourished. I know this next chapter will be a time of flourishing also. For now, rest, refresh, breathe, and reflect, and watch for all the ways God has prepared you, for all the ways He'll continue to bless you.
Hey girl, coming to you from my car because that's how we do mom life, right? I love you
so much. Some of the words that come to mind when I think of you are mother and wife, obviously, gifted communicator, visionary, creator, innovator, decorator, space maker, collaborator, listener, learner, risk taker, truth teller, encourager, partner, and friend. You are so skilled and gifted that there is just no end to what you can do. I love you, and gosh, I love you. Okay.
Hey, Leah. It's your old friend Dave. When I think about your long, faithful ministry at Grace Chapel, but probably the thing that stands out to me most is something I just heard yesterday, hearing from James Chung from InterVarsity, and he said the question that Gen Zers are asking most is it beautiful? Is Christianity beautiful? And I think through the way you used words, from your vulnerability, from the spaces you created, the digital ministry that you curated, you really made things beautiful to reflect the goodness and the truth and the beauty of our great God for thousands upon thousands of people over the last 2 decades. And so I thank you. The Lord is your keeper, Leah. He will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore.